a woman is like, tell me the truth. And then you tell them a truth, and they don't like that truth. And they get really upset about that truth. And as a woman, because we're motivated to not upset people, they actually think that if you know how upset I am about what's true for you, you will change what's true for you. They really think that. But you guys are smarter than that, because it's been true for you for a long time. And there were no problems until you told her.
Yeah,
So
easy correlation. I told you, now there's problem.
now there's a problem. There was no problem before I was out loud about it. There's no problem at all. But women don't, since you're just a hairy woman, you're going to be motivated to not upset me, and you're going to change yourself in order to not upset me, just like I'm trying to change myself to not upset you.
Right.
And really, honest men just stop telling the truth because it's not worth it. And truth is my second highest value. So I had to learn, how do you empower people who are literally, I mean, my conclusion is humans were born liars. I've seen horses lie, I've seen dogs lie,
nature
and I've
lies.
seen, oh gosh,
Yeah.
oh, absolutely, yes, it's a planetary, part of the planetary paradigm. Thank you. I know we have scarcity, I know we have fear, I know we have competition. Yes, lying, nature lies. So, yeah, if you want honesty, you have to always have the reward of the honesty be greater than the cost of the honesty. It doesn't mean you have to have no cost. You don't have to pretend to be fine.
Yeah.
But it has to be, you know what, you can tell I don't like that, and I'm a little afraid it means I won't get what I need, but you get 1,000 points for telling me that.
Yeah, we're like Pavlovian, we're trained in a Pavlovian way. Like, you ask for the truth, we give the truth, then you get mad. So then we're like, okay, well, obviously telling the truth is not a good idea.
Yes.
So it's a vicious cycle.
And then you start backtracking, and she goes, well, now you're lying.
Yeah,
Yes.
And then you're in more trouble, and you're like, I got to go.
So that,
Yeah, and can I tie it
Yeah,
back
yeah,
and then
tie-
go
tie
wherever
it
you want to go? So it ties back to, if we don't give a man quality information at an actionable time, those are key. Those are both diminish his ability to produce results, so that's technically emasculating. If we don't do that, then bad things happen. If we do tell you what it is that we need, and then we expect you to deliver it as we're picturing it, without having told you how we were picturing it. Like, we think we said enough. Because both men and women have a thing about don't state the obvious. But what's obvious is different. This is the source of so many miscommunications. We just leave out key words. Or the person doesn't hear a key word. Like my husband, I told him, don't ask me to marry you until I tell you it's okay. He was talking about our grandchildren on our first date. And I was like, I will marry you when the dirt in the street says I should. I really said that to him. But I said, and then when it became even more clear, I said, don't ask because I don't want to say no to you. Don't ask until I tell you it's okay, that I'm prepared to say yes. So then finally I had enough evidence of who he was as a human being. I lived with him 24/7. I found out what life would be like. So then I told him, do you know, I would like for you to ask me to marry you by my birthday. It was 3 weeks until my birthday. It seemed simple, but he didn't hear by my birthday. He heard on my birthday. My birthday was on a Monday night, and I was teaching a program at Landmark that night. But I didn't know any of this until time was passing, and this man who probably would ask me to marry him on our first date, and it's 10, 11 months later, and I've told him he can ask me, and he hasn't asked me, and he hasn't asked me, and he hasn't asked me. And I'm like, did you change your mind? You don't want to marry me anymore? And he's like, well, you said you wanted me to ask you on your birthday, and it's a Monday night, and you're leading, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that and where to do it. And so I take you to Mulholland Drive late at night. Should I? How do I? And he was just beside himself trying to figure this out. And I realized, oh, you're assuming you can only ask me once. Well, of course. I said, you can ask me as many times as you want. Really? Will you marry me? Instantly. And then we got the ring, and he got down on his knee, and he asked me again. And he would ask me to marry him a couple times a year for the 27 years we were together. It was delightful.
But you told him you didn't want to tell him no, so he's probably like, well, I'm not going to ask until it's 100% a go.
Well, he thought it was, I'd had to be on that day,
Right.
not by that day. And I mean, so many times one word. I asked him to do something at the lunch break, and he heard lunchtime, and for him, lunchtime is between 11:30 and 12:30. I knew the lunch break was at 2. One word.
Mhm.
I mean, this is why I'm such a proponent for verify and clarify. This is not a test of you. This is a test of me. Could you tell me what you heard?
Mhm.
So I can affirm that you got it, or I can do a better job and clarify.
Mm-hmm. So a question that came up as you were telling the stories a bit ago, and also to Brent's point of like his dad was always in trouble and his mom wasn't communicating, etc. It kind of seems like when you ask like a lot of men, the struggle is kind of the same across the board where they're like, I'm always in trouble, right? There's always this kind of I'm always in trouble energy from most men. Why is it that men feel that way and women don't feel I'm always in trouble? What do they feel instead? Because there's got to be something that's replacing that.
We feel afraid.
Okay.
Because, and this was amazing, when we first offered our Understanding Women workshop, and it was co-ed, I got to experience what it was like to live with a graduate of my work, because I'd put all the food on the table and I was watching to see if Greg was pleased. And then I realized I'd forgotten the salt and the specific sauce that should go with this meal. And Greg was in the middle of talking, and I jumped up and I grabbed him, and I came back and I realized I jumped up from the dinner table, which was a sacred place for him, for our children to express themselves. And I looked at him like, for him to be displeased, for him to have a look on his face that he was displeased. And instead, he said, did you have a diffuse awareness moment? I was like, oh my gosh, this is what the men are talking about. Because men had said what they loved about being with one of my graduates. What they said consistently was, I no longer walk on eggshells. Right? That's that be in trouble thing.
Right.
So we're afraid of displeasing you. And we interpret looks on your face as I've done something wrong, I've been too much or too little of something. And I try to tell women, because we'll see a look on your face and then we'll decide what it was, and then we'll work to change it, or if we can't change it, conceal it. And like, just check with him. He may just have had gas.
That's 90% of it.
Yeah, like you're going, and we're like, oh God, he doesn't like the green beans. He doesn't like what I said. I shouldn't have told that joke. We make up center of the universe. Everything is about me and whether I pleased or displeased you. And y'all don't pay that much attention to being pleased or displeased.
Mhm.
That's like a minor pleased and displeased. Am I getting what I need? Right? Is she getting what she needs? Is she happy? Happy wife, happy life. Right? Am I good enough for her?
Mhm.
Right? Women don't know how much you guys are wanting to be worthy of the love and care of this woman that you admire. We don't know that.